Good afternoon and welcome to the 2021 National Collegiate Gymnastics Selection Show. I'm your host, Will Haskell. It's been a healthy wait for some of the best athletes in the nation to compete for a national championship, where Oklahoma is still the reigning champion, having captured the last championship back in 2019, the fourth in program history. But who will challenge the Sooners for that title this year? We start to answer that question on April the 1st with the first round of 3 days of regional competition. 4 regional sites this year with 9 teams selected to each based on a calculation of team scores throughout the year. The top 16 teams have been seeded and assigned a regional site based on those rankings, while the remaining 20 teams have been placed geographically. Teams ranked 8th and 9th in each region will face off in the first round on April the 1st, with 8 teams competing in 4-way regional semifinals in the second round the following day. Regional finals will be contested on April the 3rd, with the top 2 teams from each region advancing to Fort Worth, Texas for the national championship meet starting on April the 16th. There's also a chance for individual athletes to advance, and we will unveil the individual all-around and specialists for each of our 4 sites. All right, that's too much talking for me. Get right to the team, shall we? We will start with the Athens Regional. It's hosted by the University of Georgia. The 8th seed in the tournament belongs to Minnesota, Big Ten champions for the first time since 2006, and they did it in style, setting a program record with the team's all-around score, which is top 8 in the country this season. There's a lot of momentum within this squad heading into the regionals, fresh off of that Big Ten championship and trying to make history here in 2021. There's also a lot of momentum for the 9 seed. That belongs to Denver, maybe the talk of the sport right now after capturing the program's first Big 12 title over the weekend. Lindsey Brown captured the all-around and Gymnast of the Year honors, complete with a perfect 10 on the bars, one of just 2 athletes in the country to achieve that score this season. The squad will need that type of performance out of her, plus depth, as the lineup hasn't actually been fully intact all season long. It could all come together when the regionals get started for Denver. That's just 2 conference champions to lead things off, and that means that it'll be a big test on the home mat for Georgia, which obviously is here as well, the most decorated program in the sport's history. The Dogs have 10 national titles and are a bit of a mystery. They missed the SEC championships because of some COVID issues. Oregon State will try to survive this region and make it to the national meet for a 25th time. All of that firepower up top, but we haven't even gotten to the top overall seed, which is here as well. That belongs to Florida, the national champions from 2013 and 2015. Perhaps this is the year the Gators start another streak after those 3 in a row from 2013 to 2015. A motivated group that felt like last year was the chance that denied them. Like Oklahoma, they enter with some questions after a few falls flipped them to 3rd in the SEC meet. Trinity Thomas was limited to just 1 event, so her health will be the most important thing to watch as we approach the regionals in a week. Final seeded team in Athens is Illinois, coming off a 3rd place finish at the Big Ten meet. Central Michigan checks in next, 2 individual champions at the MAC meet last weekend, and the first round matchup in this region will be between NC State and Western Michigan. The Broncos featuring MAC Freshman of the Year Sarah Moravansky, who won the MAC all-around title. All right, now on to the individual qualifiers here in Athens. Also heading there will be 3 all-around individual qualifiers, including a couple from our first-round matchup getting guarantees in case their teams don't advance. Peyton Murphy was the MAC Gymnast of the Year for Western Michigan. We also have 2 pages of specialists to unveil, including a lot of names from NC State and Nebraska on this list. The Cornhuskers have produced 5 different individual championships in the program's history at the national meet, and they have a few hopefuls as well on this list. And as we transition to the second page, the final participant is Isabel Goico, who is hoping to return home where Texas Women's is the host for the national meet. A second-team All-American a year ago, she's been consistent all year with a high score on the floor of 9.9. All right, let's move to the Morgantown Regional. It's hosted by West Virginia, the 5th seed, and the first team to unveil here is Cal. A year of a lot of firsts for the Bears, including their highest ever score at the Pac-12 meet in a 2nd-place effort. Co-coaches of the year Justin Howell and Elizabeth Crandall Howell still think there is untapped potential in this group as they seek the program's 4th final site appearance for a national championship. 12th seed in this region belongs to BYU. The Cougars won the Mountain Rim title for the 2nd consecutive year, showing some impressive grit in bouncing back from mistakes throughout the meet to secure the title. The win also came with a clean sweep of the conference awards. Abby Minor-Alder was the Gymnast of the Year, and while she hasn't been an all-around competitor in every meet, they will certainly need her to be great to make their first final sight since all the way back 2005. Ohio State and Towson make it to this region with easy travel, and there will be some potential rivalry as well when we unveil the 4th seed, and that belongs to Michigan. The Wolverines have made the final sight of the championship 23 times in program history and will lean on their strengths to make it to Fort Worth. Michigan has the top unit in the country when it comes to the vault, with 4 gymnasts ranking inside the top 12 in the country in that discipline. Natalie Wojcik is one of those, fresh off a perfect 10 and Big Ten title on the vault. The Wolverines placed 2nd in that Big Ten championship meet. 13th seed belongs to a team that is very familiar to this championship, UCLA, 6-time national champions. The Bruins were 3rd in the Pac-12, but have some exciting youth to show off in this postseason, including Pac-12 Newcomer of the Year, Che Campbell. He ranks in the top 20 nationally in terms of highest all-around scores this season, but more impressively is tied for the top all-around score in the country this year from a freshman. So there's some firepower for that Bruins roster as they seek national title number 7. 3 teams left. It starts with Kent State in this regional. They were 3rd in the MAC. They will be joined by the winner of the first-round matchup between Penn State and West Virginia, which will have the benefit of competing at home. Individuals here heading to Morgantown include one Nittany Lion and Cassidy Rushlow. She is joined by 2 strong gymnasts in the all-around individual qualifiers, Rutgers' Hannah Joyner and Belle Huang. Moving on to the first page now of specialists. No surprise to see Lindenwood well represented in the vault. This was a top 30 nationally ranked team in that discipline all season in terms of qualifying score. All 3 on this list were top 7 at the MIC championship meet, which was won overall by the team as well. And the second page of qualifiers includes a number of Mountaineers who are hoping they don't need this individual spot, but West Virginia was a top 25 team in the country all season on the floor. Kendra Combs posted the highest average for the team in the country this year on the floor for West Virginia. All right, that is half of the field right now. We're going to take a quick pause, slight break. We have 18 more teams, plenty of individuals still to unveil. We'll do that right after this.
For the win! If a champion can teach us anything, it's to stay hungry, to keep our resolve, and to prepare for what's next. So to the players in the college sports community who never stop believing, the end goal is in sight. The ultimate rally. A comeback for all ages. For the fans, the teams, and most importantly, the players. Let's bring on the next champion. We're ready.
Welcome back to the 2021 Women's Gymnastics Selection Show. We have unveiled 2 of our 4 regions and hop right back into the selections where we head to Salt Lake City in our 3rd regional, and it starts with our hosts. They're seeded 6th. That would, of course, be Utah. Here come the Red Rocks, Pac-12 champions for the first time since 2017, capping off an impressive undefeated regular season with the conference's top prize. Mel O'Keefe was the Pac-12 Gymnast of the Year, winning the all-around title, and helped Utah sweep the beam competition as well. It was a performance that could be a sign of things to come as the program seeks national title number 10. Arizona State earns the 11 seed. A 4th place finish in that Pac-12 meet was the highest finish for the Gym Devils since all the way back in 2006. This is as consistent of a team in the nation. They've hit all 24 routines in that championship meet, the only team in the Pac-12 to do so last weekend. But will there be enough points to sneak into the final sight? The last time they made the final sight, also 2006, so there could be some historic synergy here with that good performance at the Pac-12 meet. Boise State is next. Emily Mullenhoft is top 5 in the country on the bars this year. Southern Utah will also make the drive north to compete for a first ever trip to the final sight. It won't be a drive, but you will probably know when LSU arrives. They're the 3 seed. A motivated bunch of Tigers were denied a 4th straight SEC championship and now sets their eyes on that elusive national title, having finished 2nd in 3 of the last 4 national championship meets. Always one of the most captivating teams to watch in the nation. The Tigers rank 2nd on the floor and vault in the country. Kaya Johnson just delivered a perfect 10 on the floor in the SECs with freshman Haley Bryant and Elena Arenas sharing the vault title. Kentucky earns a seed as well. The Cats interregionals off a 4th place finish in the SEC meet, which tied the best finish in program history. That is a good omen for head coach Tim Garrison and the squad. The last top 4 finish of the SEC championship was back in 2018. That year, Kentucky also made it to the final site for the first time in program history, so perhaps a sign of things to come after a good performance in the SEC meet. The final 3 teams start with another in-state program. Utah State, Temple, and Arizona will battle it out in the first round to be a part of the second round action. All right, in case the Owls don't advance to the regional final, they will be represented in the all-around competitors. Ariana Castrence will be guaranteed a spot in the all-around competition, joined there by athletes from Washington and Northern Illinois. And those schools are very well represented when you look at our list of individual qualifiers heading to Utah. One of Arizona's 2 individual national titles came on the vault. That was all the way back in 1991, so Malia Hargrove is hoping to add to that legacy for the Wildcats as she competes as one of 6 qualifying on the vault. You also have a spot in the floor exercise competition as we transition to our second page of individual qualifiers. Anna Kaziska of Southeast Missouri has been tremendously consistent all season. There, she's never been below a 9.8 and riding into the regionals with a 9.9 or higher on floor 2 of her last 3 meets. All right, we have just one region to go as we head to Tuscaloosa, the final regional hosted by 7-seeded Alabama. And you can still hear the celebration in Tuscaloosa as the Tide return to the top of the SEC for the first time since 2015 with their 10th overall SEC crown. Will that momentum carry over to a national championship? Alabama has won 6 national titles. More SEC flavor will be along for the ride. Arkansas joining this pod in Tuscaloosa alongside Iowa and Iowa State. And if you go by national qualifying score, there may not be a tighter competition in the entire bracket. All 4 of these teams unveiled here in this regional rank inside the top 20 with only 0.8 of a point separating the top score from the 4th score. Competition will be close. All right, you knew the name was coming. It's a 2 seed this year for Oklahoma. The reigning champions are showing no signs of giving up their title here in 2021. The Sooners have won it all 4 of the last 5 years the championship has been contested, but the squad enters off a stunning second-place finish at the Big 12 meet, so there may be a little extra something to prove here. Anastasia Webb was the co-gymnast of the year in the Big 12. She earned conference titles on vault and beam as well. She will need to be special as she always is coming up in this postseason. Auburn earned the 15th seed and will make this regional feel a little bit more like a reunion of last week's SEC championship. So you got Auburn making this along with Alabama, Arkansas, a lot of SEC flair on a familiar site in Tuscaloosa with the Tigers earning the 15th seed here in this regional. You want some SEC flair? We'll add some more here. How about Missouri adding to the mix? Eastern Michigan won the MAC championship, adds depth as well to this regional. They square off against Maryland in the first round, the final school that we unveiled today. All right, to our final selection of individuals with Audrey Barber headlining a list with Angelica Labatt from Illinois State and Hayden Crossan from Eastern Michigan. Barber is top 30 in the country in all-around ranking, including a 39.55 in a duel against Michigan just 2 weeks ago. Our first list of specialists heading to Alabama includes several from Ball State. Shout out to the Cardinals and head coach Joanna Salim, who was the MAC Coach of the Year. Her team earned head-to-head wins against every team in the conference at some point this year. Now the attention turns to some individual opportunities for a host of athletes within this program. And our final page of individuals includes more MAC flavor as well. Caitlin Sattler was 4th on the beam in the MAC championship, while Claudia Goico couldn't compete there, but gets a regional nod on floor. She has a couple of 9.9 performances this season. All right, there you have it. All 36 teams, not to mention a handful of individual qualifiers who are all set to march towards a national championship. All 4 regionals will take place April 1st through the 3rd, with the top 2 teams from each advancing to the national semifinals on April the 16th and then the 17th at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. We hope you find a way to take in the action in some way. You can always track the results here on NCAA.com before watching the semifinals on ESPN2 and the national championship on ABC at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on April the 17th. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Will Haskett. Congratulations and best of luck to all the student athletes competing in this year's championship.
If a champion can teach us anything, it's to stay hungry, to keep our resolve, and to prepare for what's next. So to the players in the college sports community who never stop believing, the end goal is in sight. The ultimate rally. A comeback for all ages. For the fans, the teams, and most importantly, the players. Let's bring on the next champion. We're ready.